Hello, everyone. We did our presentation on our company called Barracudda Industries. What we're going to be going over is the company's information, our strategy, our weekly decisions, our results, our overall results, and our 3-year strategic plan, and then also our team dynamics. A little bit about our company. We are the top leading manufacturer that designs, assembles, and markets AC cameras and UAV drones. We precisely assemble mountable and wearable video cameras that are smaller than a teacup, as well as camera-equipped drones. Our action capture camera models delivers stunning video quality and powerful photo capture capabilities. The specialized UAV drones are used by professional photography enterprise, movie studios, and to capture spectacular scenes from heights. There are 6 regional facilities to meet the customer's needs no matter where they're at. And having 4 geographic regions in the world market allows us to stock the UAV drones and action cameras, as well as provide repairs when needed. Our mission statement is capturing spectacular action-packed moments, 1 pixel at a time, while providing the best products and services to all consumers at a great price.
Hello, Ronnie Harris, and I will be discussing our team strategy. In the next few slides, we'll be going week through week what our changes were and our strategy was, but just an overall background of it. In the beginning, we just started focusing on return on investment. We realized that bringing that number up was bringing every other number up, and we really only had to make changes to the products and the features of them. We did that for a while, and then week about 4 or 5, we started focusing more on the revenue, and that made us drop significantly in the rankings. So we kind of went back to the original plan and started now focusing a little more on the EPS as well as the return on investment. So here's our weekly breakdown. Week 1, we were really trying to find the balance between just the products. We, just doing one enhancement or picture quality enhancement too much, it would significantly drop, one of the categories. So it was just finding that perfect sweet spot in every category. And that was what made our return on investment go so high and bring everything else with it. We didn't focus on funds really much or improving any of the facilities. Week 2, we started investing a little bit into improvements for the products, UAV and the drones alone, just, raising it from basic to enhanced. Nothing too crazy, just we were really focused on the ROI as high as possible. Week 3, image rating was getting harder and harder to keep above expectations. It was definitely had an impact on the other categories. So we started to focus more on the funds because we were figuring we might need those if it's starting to drop already. Week 4, we almost completely took the focus off of return on investment and EPS. And we were really kind of getting frugal with our product enhancements because it just, like we said, the image rating, we thought it was a little more important than what it really was at the time. So we were, sacrificing everything else to keep that up. But, week 5, after we got our ranking sort of dropped, we started investing in the stocks and R&D expenditures, hoping that, in the long run, this would help with the return on investments in the future. But we dropped to like 5th place from first. So we started going back to the basics at this point, just trying to get the ROI up as much as possible. We figured that was way more important. However, to achieve this now, we had to more so play with the 4 different countries. And so we were really trying to keep those numbers. They were starting to get a little more similar. And we also cut back on spending a lot. Week 7, image rating was getting way under expectations, but the other categories were how they were they were all meeting expectations. It was more similar to how it was in the beginning. And we noticed we were slowly climbing the ranks back up. So we were like, okay, let's do what has worked for us in the past. We continued with that. At this point, we did kind of stop. We noticed that making huge improvements was only hurting our numbers to the products itself. So we cut back on that and actually, I think, dialed down and took away some of the features at this point. In week 8, we completely forgot about image rating. I think we were about 12 points under. This was just to raise EPS expectations because, like I said, it was impossible to do that without going under expectations on image rating. And at this point, the different countries were very similar in pricing and marketing, almost every category.
I'll be going over our 3-year strategic plan results for years 11, 12, and 13 for the earnings per share, return on equity, and stock price. We used a year-over-year percent change and then found the average for the previous years on all their percent changes, added them up, and found an average for those and used that as our growth rates for these measures. This is also used to drive our revenue, profitability, and financial measurements of those. And then for this, to project out the targets for the earnings per share at 687 for year 11, we were able to use that growth rate we found previously, multiply it by year 10, and then add back in year 10 to get the 687. We'll do this for ROE and stock price for years 11, 12, and 13 as well. And you'll see in years 12 and 13, they were much more accurate. And this is due to a fundamental change in our strategic plan. We implemented a higher quality product and increasing our market share to drive demand increase. Instead of our previous plan was just picking and choosing everything that would increase our earnings per share, ROE, and stock price as the littlest minute details. As for credit rating, we try to keep it at an A or A plus. As you can see, we were fairly consistent with that. Our image rating did get put on the back burner a little bit as we were spending our money to increase our product and market demand. It did try to stay at 70, but we fell a little short in year 13. But overall, as of years 12 and 13, we were fairly accurate in our targets and actually surpassed them pretty well. This gave us annual scores of 79, 82, and 82. Moving on to our results overall, I'll be looking at our scoring measure results for year 15 as we ended on 15. Earnings per share at 1348, a return on equity at 58.3%, and a credit rating of A+. Our image rating still was only at 70, so we did get it back to where we wanted to be, but it wasn't as high as overall as we wanted to finish with. And then ranking number 4th in the class for year 15. As for our Barracudda Industries game-to-date score, our investor expectations was 105. Our best in industry was 82, and our weighted average was 94 with 4 bonus points, giving us a game-to-date score of 98.
Our team dynamics are very important to us through this process. In our team, each member worked equally as the next. There were a few times where each one of us would have a specific role or insight than the other. Some examples were when it came to the financial decisions, Josh really took the headway on this. He is a finance major and had a better background of the financial workings in our company than myself and Ronnie had. However, we would all go over it together to make sure we are all on the same page so that the numbers met our expectations. Another example was I was the one who seemed to initiate setting up the meeting times and scheduling the work sessions. I would also take notes during each session to document the different strategies in which we were taking as a team weekly. I also mainly focused on UAV drones, the product design, and also the marketing of it every week. And our third example is Ronnie had a great overall role in the team. He had a great sense of understanding all the concepts and what they were used for, and then also coming up with estimated numbers. And he focused more on the action-packed cameras with the design of them and also the marketing. We met weekly, if not 2 times a week, with each other during the duration of the stimulation. We would go through the strategies we were trying to convey for that week, for the year, and make decisions from there on out. We would strategize with each other, and we would kind of determine who wanted to take each element of the stimulation. And I'd probably say around week 2 or 3, we kind of had a solid foundation of who was doing what in our team as well. We would have a final decision a day or so before the year's decision were due, just to make sure everything was what we wanted it to be at. Our team felt like it was necessary to communicate via text because of the constant communication and availability that it brought. At first, we were doing email, but we figured it wasn't as time accurate, I guess. as we needed it to be. So texting was definitely a great way for us to connect with each other and stay in communication. And here are our references. We only use two main references in this PowerPoint, one being the Globus website for the simulation and also our book that was recommended for this class. We really appreciate you guys watching our presentation and we hope you enjoyed.